China is a very diverse country coming from a long, rich culture and home to some of the most delectable foods that you can find since the country's origin. These are some of the factors that make China one of the most desirable places to travel to, as its cultural prospects provide great sources of warmth and satisfaction to both the natives and foreigners alike. Today, I will be informing you about all that China has to offer in its rich culture and heritage and implore you to learn about some of the beginnings of the food of China. Whether you are from the United States, Europe, or in the Asian mainland somewhere, the mention of Chinese food and its culture is a nationally accepted concept. According to the Oxford Research Encyclopedia of Environmental Science on January 22nd, 2021, China will always be primarily known for their food, followed by their unique advancements to society and their cultural values since the historical ages. Today, my main focus will be to specifically analyze the culture and food of China. Let's start by seeing what we can discover about the lineage of China, whether that may be new information or common knowledge. According to Tourism Management, last accessed on October 9th, 2023, China had become one of the most advanced and innovative civilizations for 2 millennia due to its leaders from previous dynasties achieving great military success and absorbing nearby societies into their own country. Much of old China had adopted a more collectivistic society as the needs of the many greatly outweighed the needs of the few. The Chinese communities did not reach a great cultural transition point until the cultural reform that began in 1978. Today, China is considered one of the largest populated countries in the world, and its cultural influence has greatly impacted many other nations in its production, trade, arts, and sciences. Contemporary Chinese culture had adopted a combination of historical tradition and rapid rise in modernization while acquiring a more individualistic sense of community. According to Frontiers in Psychology on May 31st, 2021, much of the Chinese cultural identity is defined by shared customs and a need for cultural preservation, in addition to the more recent cultural and economic transformations. Now that we've gone to know a little bit more about Chinese culture and its important traditions, let's see what we can discover about one of the most well known dishes made in China. According to Ocean Palace Restaurant on September 30th, 2021, the Peking duck dish was developed during the northern and southern dynasties of China. The royal dietary physician Hu Sihui had created this dish while experimenting with duck meat during the early 5th century. His intention was for this dish to be only served to the emperor and those of his like stature. The turning point for Peking duck had occurred during the Qing dynasty, in which skilled chefs would apply the now established methods to improve its quality and taste. This often included using skin separation, hanging, and the hung-over approach. According to National Geographic on July 8th, 2021, Peking duck is considered one of the world's greatest dishes and as much an emblem to Beijing as is the Forbidden City or the old Hutong lanes. Now that we know what China encompasses and stands for, let's glance back at what we've discussed and review. While the beginnings of China are different than other nations, the symbolism behind what makes China's food and culture so unique is just as important to its own people as it is to other countries across the globe. The next time you sit down to eat Chinese food or discover an interesting Chinese relic, you will be better informed about where it came from and how it will be used, as each item has a unique purpose and origin. What I hope you take away from my speech today is that you gain fresh perspectives about the long history of China, and in doing so, you also raise interesting questions about the role that China plays on a global scale.